Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Discriminating Gamer. Say, what does a dog and a marine biologist have in common? One wags its tail, the other tags its whales. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to go ahead and take a look at Dog Lover from AEG. Hello everybody, we'll get back to the review in just a second. I just want to take a moment to ask you to go ahead and check out and subscribe to my other channel, that is Cody Carlson PhD, where we talk about military history and books on history and fun things like that. Please check that out, please subscribe, and now, back to the review. In Dog Lover from AEG, 2 to 4 players take on the roles of dog enthusiasts as they each seek to take the very best care of their canine friends. So at the beginning of the game, you're going to create a kind of a play area. You're going to have your game cards, and with the game cards you're going to draw 9 cards and create a 3x3 grid. Just next to that grid you're going to have a deck of dog tricks with 3 cards laid out, and next to that you will have the rescue shelter with 3 dog cards laid out at a time. Now, at the beginning of the game, you each start out with a very simple dog trick, sit. Now, you each have these cards, and they have kind of almost a Tetris shape on them, saying exactly how you can grab cards from the grid. In the case of sit, it's kind of a vertical column. So what you do is you go ahead, and you can play that, and you can take 3 cards from any of the columns in the shape, whatever the shape the sit is. However, there is a dog token somewhere around the board. If it is on one of the locations around the board, you must you can only take 1 card from that particular row or column. And then as you play that trick, it's got a little asterisk on the card which shows in relation to that grid where you're going to move the dog token on the next turn. Now, you're going to gain all sorts of things from this grid. You may gain other dogs. You may gain food, different kinds of food to feed your dogs. You may gain walks. You may gain unique items like leashes or frisbees. And each of these things are going to be necessary to take care of your dogs. For instance, some of those unique items will score individually. They'll score as, how many leashes you got or frisbees or etc. How many of those unique items you have will score in one way. But also, too, you have to feed your dogs, and there's a certain food requirement. You have to be able to have those kinds of cards to be able to feed your dogs, and then you can take the appropriate colored cubes to feed them with. But then you can also have things like walk, which is something you can put under your card, and it gives you additional points. Now, there's also training cards that come out. Now, you want to get these training cards because the training cards are what you spend in order to buy better tricks. If you buy better tricks, you can take more cards or different arrangement of cards from the grid, however you want. So you want to get those training cards. You also can get adoption cards out of that grid, and adoption cards are what we're going to use in order to get new dogs from the rescue shelter. There's also some various other traits that are going to pop up, all sorts of new things that'll kind of let you kind of bend certain rules and do things a fun certain way, different traits and what have you. So you're going to go around, you're going to be drawing these cards, you're going to be buying tricks, buying new dogs, and of course collecting the food they need and various other cards to score points. Now at one point as you're refilling the grid, if you grab a card that says end of game, which will be toward the bottom, then of course the game is over. You immediately go to scoring. You add up all the points that you've collected for your dogs and your various tableau of dog cards, and whoever has the most points wins. Dog Lover. So, first thing I need to say is I am a dog lover. I love dogs. I currently don't have a dog. It's kind of not practical for me to have one, but I had dogs growing up. I was just down in Vegas seeing my brother and visiting with his dogs, whom I love tremendously. And last year I was living with a roommate who had dogs and loved them. I love dogs, and so it's kind of fun to see a game that celebrates our canine friends. The game itself is actually a pretty light game. It's a pretty quick game. It's kind of an engine building, tableau building game where you're trying to get the best cards, of course, to meet your requirements to feed the dogs, but also to score these other points in fun and unique ways. You also, of course, have you're limited to cards you can get from the tricks. So there's ways to get more tricks. There's ways to get more dogs as well. There's a little bit more going on to this game than I've said in my rules overview, but those are the basics, and I really had fun with this game. Everybody that played it in my group, I thought this was just a fun, good, light game, fairly quick, and it packs a punch for what it is. So the recommendation for the discriminating gamer for dog lover is buy it. Thank you once again for joining us today on The Discriminating Gamer. As always, we ask you to please leave a comment for us on YouTube, on Board Game Geek, on our Facebook page, or on thediscriminatinggamer.com. We'd ask you to please like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube, and follow us on Twitter. I'd also ask you to please check out my other channel, that is Cody Carlson, PhD, where we discuss military history and books on history. Please check it out. Please give me a subscribe to that channel, and please give a thumb to this video as well on Board Game Geek. That helps us out a lot as well. You know, ladies and gentlemen, why did the man in Alaska name his dog Frost? Because frost bites.
Please somebody help me on my feet again, and I don't know where I'm going, and I don't know where I've been. Please somebody help me on the solid ground. It's a long time, and I'll be dying. Once a year I wind up in the band.
My ball. It's my ball.